Hello everyone, this is your girl, Sugary Girl, Candy 2012, and excuse the way I sound right now, I just kind of just woke up Saturday, 21st. So, basically I'm about 2 weeks late on this, but I figured since a lot of people was already doing like the the whole who won E3 thing, and their editing was a lot more professional, I figured why don't, I guess I don't need to make one, but I guess some people, probably not a lot, would like to know my opinion on what of who I thought won, E3. Um, Now for Nintendo and Microsoft, I literally only caught bits and pieces, not bits and pieces, but I caught like most of their conference and all of that mess like after, because again, I mentioned before that, well, maybe I just mentioned it on Twitter that the conferences and the E3 was just pretty much all over the place, so it was really hard to to know where to catch the conference at. Like, Sony was throwing their conference, and they had movie theaters and streaming online. And let me say a little bit on that streaming part. Last year's streaming for Sony was just terrible, and that was the most like pumped up conference, and the streaming this year was actually pretty good. I didn't have any problems, and I don't exactly have like the best internet connection, but the conference was really smooth. I mean, yeah, the streaming was really smooth, sorry, and I didn't have any hiccups whatsoever, regardless of how many like tabs I had open on my browser. So yeah, I just wanted to say on that. Nintendo was throwing their conference like digitally or something like that, and Microsoft was throwing theirs on TV really early, so ain't no way I was about to obviously wake up at 9 in the morning, or had time at 9 in the morning to catch their conference. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna catch everything afterwards, because usually about 1,000 gaming news channels are posting it online anyway. So that's basically how I caught Microsoft, and basically how I caught Nintendo's, and all the games that were shown and announced and all the features and stuff. Now if I was going to base this conference off a presentation, I would probably give it to, it would be between Nintendo and Microsoft, just due to the fact that Nintendo had I believe they opened with the cute little the Robot Chicken segment, and I'm a huge fan of Robot Chicken, so I thought that was pretty neat and cool. But I can't say original, just due to the fact that Sony did that whole Robot Chicken thing first. If you didn't know, they did it with their PlayStation All-Stars game. If you want to go look it up, you can. Just look up All-Stars Robot Chicken and you'll find it. And so PlayStation, Nintendo, the reason I like Nintendo's open is just due to the fact that like, it was just the way it opened, and like how they was going about certain things in the Robot Chicken segment. Nintendo were pretty much poking fun of themselves, and I like when companies and developers can do that. Can poke fun at their work if they know they screwed up on something, or if they know they do something too much and not enough of something, they poke fun at each other and stuff like that. And basically, in the Robot Chicken segment, they were poking fun at the fact that Nintendo always constantly back to back have only Mario games and stuff like that. So and that was pretty cute, and I thought that was pretty interesting to start the E3 like that. Microsoft's was a little bit faster. So, it wasn't like a complete bore fest in the first 10 minutes. Now, Sony, I have to say that for Sony, I'm sorry. I love Sony, but I'm sorry, but the opening was just boring this year. Like, compared to last year, this one was just, like, really dull. Besides the Destiny trailer being shown at the beginning, it just opened really, really dull and really boring, to the point where I thought that, Sony was generally going to have a bad conference. And what I mean by that is, if you've been catching Sony's conference for at least 10 years or more, or in the last 5 years, then you know that when Sony opens their conference, they open up to the point where it gets you hyped. Like, they have their little theme music, and they show PlayStation 1 games, and they just start showing all of their PlayStation franchises, and through the little intro, then they just have cute, cool music and flashing lights and stuff like that. So when I didn't see any of that this year, I was like, huh? Like, I was like, okay, maybe they're just gonna open that with the Destiny trailer, and then they're gonna like do the cool intro and stuff like that. But they didn't. It never came, and I was like, oh man. I was like, I have a feeling this conference is gonna be bad. And out of all the three, Sony are the one that get the 2 hours to do their thing, I guess, because they got, you know, 3 platforms to work with, I guess. So when that didn't come, I was like, oh crap. And then like the presentator that came out is the one that, you know, replaced Jack Trenton. He was just like, I don't know, he was just really, he looked at really nervous, and I guess being nervous at the fact that, you know, he's a new head. So he was like really nervous, and you can tell in the way he was speaking and saying certain stuff, and, you know, with the bad jokes. I mean, Sony, they always, you know, always got bad jokes and stuff like that, but these were really bad. So I was like, yeah, Sony is definitely missing that Jack Trenton. But Jack Trenton didn't exactly just miss out on the E3. He actually was commentating with I believe it was somebody from GameSpot. I guess you can catch the conference somewhere. You can look it up. I don't know. But he didn't exactly just like miss out on E3. He was basically going to be giving his opinion on who won E3 and such and such. So if I was to give it, you know, I was to say based off the presentation and who brought it and who didn't bore us in the first, you know, 20-30 minutes of the conference, I would definitely give it to Microsoft and Nintendo, but probably Microsoft more. I don't know, don't ask me, but I would probably give it to them. Now, in terms of content shown, now that would be between Sony and Nintendo. And that's not being a fangirl, but I'm sure a pretty lot of people can see that in terms of what Nintendo showed and in terms of what Sony showed, they just had things on their consoles that you really, really want. For Microsoft, they just, you know, they had the Halo. I believe it where they were going to be packing all 3 Halos in one game. Excuse me if I forget anything, because again, I'm about 2 weeks late and I had everything written down and I don't know where I put it. So basically they showed I mean both Microsoft and Sony both showed third-party games. But the difference between Sony showing third-party games is the fact that when Sony was showing third-party games, they were actually showing features with their third-party games. Like, they were the first to actually introduce GTA 5 to be on next-gen consoles. I mean, I know a pretty lot of people were already, you know, knew it was coming and stuff, but I'm just going to give them props for that. And the fact that also, on top of being the first to show the GTA content, to show GTA first on next-gen consoles, the fact that, you know, you have the ability to transfer your PS3 and your Xbox 360 data from your from those consoles onto your PS4, which is really freaking cool, because Xbox is like a totally different platform. So how the hell are they going to do that? And Far Cry 4, excuse me. And you're probably gonna be like, okay, third party, yeah, blah blah blah. But with the showing of Far Cry 4, you also have the ability to play the game in co-op. You're like, okay, that's no big deal. But with that co-op, you're able to actually play co-op with somebody that doesn't actually have the game. I mean, like, that feature alone just pretty much killed a lot of the third parties in E3. That's, in my opinion, that feature alone killed a lot of the third parties showing in E3 just due to the fact that you can do that. What else? Oh crap, sorry, I hit the mic. Getting kind of hot. Hold on. Excuse my squeaky bed. Okay. Just had to turn my fan on because it's hot as hell. Who else? What else? Okay, the Far Cry 4 is showing. Yeah, the feature's pretty cool because you can actually play the game with people who don't actually own the game. So, you know, anybody that actually want to try out, you know, Far Cry 4, but they don't have the game, they can't get the game, or they don't want to get the game, you can actually play the game with them without them actually owning them, or vice versa. So that's pretty cool. But other than that, I will probably I'm just gonna dock all of the third party games, and I'm just gonna base it off of just the content, their content, and not based off third party. So I'm deducting from Sony and Microsoft because obviously I just want to see exclusives first, because basically the exclusives will show the power of the console. So if I had to base it off content shown again, it would be between Nintendo or Sony, because they actually had content that I like. I mean, probably the only thing that really interested me on the Microsoft side of things was Sunset Overdrive, because the game looked really cool, very colorful, bright, and funny. Seeing the opening trailer and stuff like that before the game actually started, and it reminded me a lot of Ratchet and Clank. And I'm not a huge fan of Ratchet and Clank, but I do love playing some of the games, and I also love Ratchet and Clank just due to the fact that I was a huge fan of Jak and Daxter. So Jak and Daxter was really cool. So, and Sunset Overdrive was really cool, but it's not enough to make me go out to buy one, like, it's not enough to make me go out to pay $400 for a system for one game. I just don't do that. That's with any game, any system really. That's why it has to show me a substantial amount of features and games and first party and second party games in order to get me interested. And Nintendo just showed a lot of games that I like, games from my past and that I remember and love, like the Mario Party, Zelda game, Super Smash Bros, in this new game called Splatoon. That game looked really fun and cool. Look fun, like you'll have a lot of fun with that. I love it. What else? Damn. But Nintendo showed a pretty lot of other good things. So it's Sony with Bloodborne, the Order 1886, obviously the Uncharted 4, like the Uncharted 4 trailer shown is what pretty much like killed the rest of E3 for me. I was like, oh, it's done, it's over. Because you guys know, if you don't know, I'm a huge fan of Naughty Dog. Love the Uncharted games. I have every last one of the games. I enjoy them. I love them. So that was just like, the trailer was just beautiful. And what made this situation also pretty funny, because as soon as that trailer was shown, everybody was like, that's a good trailer, yeah, but it ain't nothing but CGI anyway. But Naughty Dog came out and they shut all those doubters up and was like, yeah, but see, the funny thing about that trailer is that it wasn't CGI. It was actually in-game and actually, a level from the games. And it's not CGI, it's not any of that. That's actually what the game looks like. And then on top of that, Naughty Dog said they actually want to get the game to look 10 times better than what the trailer looked like. So yeah, and this is why people proclaim them as not Naughty Dogs but Naughty Gods. Because they can just make so much shit happen, and the graphical department is like insane, man. Especially with their new acquired dev from the 343 studio that are now making the Halo games now. And they said she's like a beast. So she's already pretty much adding her touch onto the UC4, and like, oh my gosh. Whew, okay, let me stop while I fangirl again. But yeah. So based on presentation, I would probably give it to Microsoft. Based off content shown, I would give it to Sony, because Sony announced a lot of content. The Destiny 4 bundle, white PS4 bundle. Just all the features and the YouTube features and the share like, it was just, Sony just showed an insane amount of shit. And when a lot of people say Sony lost the lost E3 this year, they quickly overlook everything that Sony like shown in their conference, and they just be like, they just base it basically off the pace of how the conferences were going. So they pick Microsoft just based off of that. They don't base it off to the content shown, which I found to be freaking ridiculous. I'm like, if you're gonna say if you're gonna say they won the conference, at least like look at everything as from an overall standpoint, and be like, and then determine it then, because that's what I did before I decided to make this. I didn't want to just make it and not know shit about like Microsoft's conference and just immediately say Sony won, because then I know I'm gonna have a whole lot of ass hurt people saying, you're biased and blah blah blah. Well, again, I openly admitted that I'm a PlayStation fan, and but I do give credit when it's due. If I see something good on another platform, I'm going to give credit where it's due. I'm also a Nintendo fan. I was a Nintendo fan actually before I became a PlayStation fan. I know, right? So, I was like huge on Nintendo. You couldn't tell me shit back then. Till I got my first PlayStation, and I was like, okay, yeah, I love Sony. But, again, I'm not afraid to give credit where it's due. Even if, I don't have that console, and even if I'm a fan of the PlayStation, I'm not afraid to give credit where it's due. If I see something good on another platform, I will give credit and full appreciation and respect to whoever made the game, and, whoever isn't coming off as an asshole and stuff like that. So I just wanted to, again, I decided to do this after I reviewed everything, looked at all the clips, and, notes and all that other mess before I actually did this, because I don't want anybody coming on this video and proclaiming you're a Sony fan and you didn't look at all the comments and blah blah blah, you know, some other bitching bullshit. So I just like, let me just go ahead and do this before I make this video and actually get my shit right, so a lot of people won't be all up in my comment section cursing me out, calling me bitches because they don't like the fact that I chose Sony as the winner. And yes, I do choose Sony as the winner, not based off of presentation, and pace, because it absolutely sucked ass, but based off of the content shown, and based off basically everything, the content shown, and basically every game they show in their conference, aside from the, you know, the third parties. I want everything in it. Every game they show, every little piece of game they show, information, content, whatever, feature, is everything that I wanted. And I'm like, okay, yeah, the conference was boring. It got really, really boring in the middle because of the fact that they actually were talking about TV stuff, literally for like 15 minutes. So, you know, a lot of fanboys, and if you're not a fanboy, then you shouldn't get mad at this, because there's the difference between a fan and a fanboy. A lot of Xbox fanboys were getting mad and upset at the fact that when Sony were talking about TV, people were like, you know, it's okay that Sony do it, but when Microsoft do it, it's just, you know, everybody just hates them and da-da-da-da-da. But forget everything that how Microsoft started out and why so many people dislike them, and they just think people are just supposed to forget and move on. But anyway, so Sony's talking about TV in the mid for like 15-20 minutes, I believe, and people just equated that to Microsoft's conference and be like, okay, so it's not okay for Microsoft to talk about it, but when Sony do it, it's okay. And a lot of people were quickly shutting them down, saying this is where we have to call bullshit on y'all, because obviously Sony only talked about it for 15 minutes, I believe, but it just felt like a long time just due to how slow they were talking about it and it's how they just focused on that certain thing. And Microsoft based their whole conference around TV. Like, if you literally go on YouTube and look up Microsoft's conference, you'll hear TV. Somebody actually made a clip of all the times they say TV, 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 all throughout the conference, compared to Sony. So you can't equate 15 minutes to an hour and a half of talking about TV shit. So my winner, obviously, I push it against Sony and Nintendo. Sony winning by a landslide, just due to the fact that I liked a lot of shit Nintendo showed, and I was very interested in, and all the shit Sony showed and features and stuff like that, I quite enjoyed, and I'm looking forward to all of it, and I can't wait. And just showing the UC4 trailer alone, you know, pretty much, you know, got E3 for me. So yeah, my winner is Sony. But I'd like to know who you guys thought won E3, if you watched it, of course, or if you caught bits and pieces and based off of the content you've seen on YouTube from all these gaming channels that posted. Who do you think actually won E3? And yeah, just leave it down below in the comment section, and I'll get back to y'all as quickly as I can. And yeah, and I look forward to reading who you think won and why. So yeah, deuces.